Hey, what's up there, people? I'm Chef Michael Reyes, and you're watching The Hungry Winos. Today, we're doing the devil's food. That's right, donuts. I love donuts, as you can tell. But the thing about donuts is, it takes a long time to do. You gotta raise the dough and the yeast and the whatnot, brioche donuts. I have a recipe that's really easy, really quick. You can do it like in 15 minutes and have donuts like 25 minutes later. So let me show you how to do it. What I have here is some cake flour. It's a lot finer than the AP flour, so it'll bring some lightness to the dough. I have some sugar. I have some AP flour. I also have some baking powder right here and some baking soda. This will help make the donuts, fluffy and rise. I have some salt and I have some fresh nutmeg. Now, as far as my wet ingredients, I have a couple eggs, I have some buttermilk, I have some melted butter, and some vanilla extract. So the method I'm using today is the muffin method. I'm getting all my dry ingredients, mix them together, get all my wet ingredients, mix them together, and then incorporate the wet into the dry until I get one nice mixture. It's really, really easy. So let's get it going. I have the cake, I have some sugar, I have my AP flour, and it really doesn't matter which order I go in because all this will get mixed together. And let's get in my salt and my nutmeg. This will change the color of the dough. So if I quickly go around, just incorporate that in. You can really smell the nutmeg. It goes a long way. When these fry, you're really going to get that spice hint. Now that looks good to me. Let's go to the wet. I have my eggs, buttermilk, my vanilla. Now I'm going to start tossing these before I add my melted butter. It's not cold, but it's not hot either. And lastly, we'll add the butter. Just whisk it in, and we're good to go. So from here, we just have to mix the two. So I'm just gonna make a little well with the dry ingredients and pour in my wet. So all we're trying to do is mix the two. Again, this is kind of like getting a box out from like Pillsbury or something and mixing the two. You've done this all the time. We're just trying to get this together. If you want to, you can use, a hand mixer. I really wouldn't use a whisk because this is really thick. Now this is the consistency that we're looking for. Everything's incorporated. It's kind of light and elastic, and it's fully mixed. So we can go ahead and make our donuts now. So my batter is good to go. Let's talk about frying. I'm using canola oil. You want to fill it up about halfway up, and we're looking for like 325. If you go over like 335, that's fine, because once the batter comes in, the temperature will drop. We want to bake these off about 325. The main thing though is getting a uniform size so they all cook at the same moment. So what I have is a little melon baller ice cream scoop. These come in like totally different sizes. I'm using this size because it's really quick to fry and it's the same shape. If you want to go bigger, go bigger. It would just take a little longer to cook. Smaller too would be cool, just pop in your mouth type donuts. But I think this is a really nice size. So here we go. Scoop. Get that bad boy off. And simply drop it in. Scoop and drop it in. Now when I drop these in, I want to make sure that it's touching the oil because I don't want to splatter on myself. This is metal, so it's not like it's going to cook. So be totally safe. Sometimes my daughter will be afraid of oil and drop it really high, and I try and tell her, dude, drop it low, there's no splash, but people freak out when it comes to hot oil. So just be, smarter than the average bear and drop it down. Also, people get freaked out when they're frying because there's too much frying. They can't control how much they put in. So just start with like 3 or 4. Get your little rhythm going, and once you feel comfortable, you can do 5 or 6. So there's no rule, and you have to fill, the whole pot full of stuff. As you can see, they really fluffed up. Just like any donut, you want to give them a little flip. You want even cooking? These are really light. See how big they expanded? You see a little bit of color on that one. Well, was probably the first one that I flipped in. And you want to get the last one. Now we can watch these. And again, if you want to do like the Peking duck method and pour your oil over the top of them, you can. But they'll cook. Every now and then you can flip them over. And we're just going to watch this. And we're looking for a golden color. Now here's the thing. What happens if you pull them out, you let them cool a little bit and you test them, and it's not done? Throw them back in. Now if your temperature's not right, you're going to have these get really dark too fast. So it's really nice to invest the 10 bucks or 15 bucks on a candy thermometer, because then you control your frying. And you can use it like anytime you fry. So, you know, fries, whatever it is, it's really important to get the right temperature. I'm flipping some of these back. Now, I don't know if you can hear this. No, you can't. Well, maybe you can. My mic's kind of good. You can hear like the air in the middle. Really fluffy. So this really expanded. The baking powder and baking soda helps this process. As you can see right here, you can see some of the dough leaching out, some of the batter. Just flip that bad boy over. These are pretty close. Again, people get caught up in, you know, temperatures and how long. Temperature is cool, but it's the how long part that people get freaked out on. They want to know exactly how long it should be in the fryer, exactly how long it should be in the oven. You know, I'm not in your kitchen. I don't know what the temperature is. I don't know what the humidity is. I don't know exactly, you know, how old your stuff is. Meaning, let's say your baking soda is a little bit too old. It doesn't, you know, rise enough. It might take more time in the fryer. So it's done when it's done. Now, as for these are done. So let me get these out. I have a cooling rack. Anytime you have a fry situation going, you want to have a cooling rack. Also, what kind of like, you know, bugs me, just one of those pet peeves people have, is I don't have any paper towels. I like to use a rack. The paper towel thing, if you want the oil to go away from a product, why would you put a paper towel underneath to dry it? Because it's just sticking, the oil's sticking to the product and the paper. With a rack, as you can see, it's dripping down. So there is no oil on the product. Nice. These are still crackling full of grease. Now, I'm a professional. I know these are done because how they look and the texture and whatnot, but you're not. So why don't you just get a knife and like cut it open and see if it's cooked. So I have a little knife. Let's cut it open. Again, these are extremely hot and there'll be a difference in color, but all we're looking for is doneness. Now let's talk toppings. I have some sugars here. You know, you can use glaze if you'd like, but you know, these are really nice and I can crunchy, so I'm not too fond of the glaze for these. But I have 2 sugars here. Now you can use any kind of sugar you want. You can use powdered sugar, you can use regular granulated sugar, but I want a little flavor. So I have some pure cane sugar here. And it's really nice because it has notes of vanilla and caramel and, you know, this has a little bit more texture. It adds a little bit of color. I like it. Now this stuff right here, if you can find it, this is like maple sugar, pure maple sugar. And what I like about it is, look at the size on that. Look at those crystals. I mean, it's crunchy, but not crunchy like the turbidou sugar. This is like soft crunchy. It's like pellet crunchy. So it'll give a nice flavor, really nice maple. So it's like having the maple glazed donut without the glaze. Now you might want to let these cool, but I'm hungry and I like a hot donut. So I'm going to get these and basically coat them. If I want to toss some more on, I can. Really nice. Can you hear the crunch, how crunchy these things are? Okay, we're cool. That can go around the plate. Let's get another one and get the other sugar in. Look at the color that this adds to this donut. Totally different flavor, but really nice. And let's get another maple. I really like this maple because of the crunch. So this really adds a dimension of flavor and texture to these little donuts. And people aren't used to tasting like pure maple sugar. And that's about it. Nice, simple donuts in less than half hour. So let's go ahead and try one of these bad boys. I'll get the maple one. Really crunchy. Nice. I could have like 8 of these. Good texture. I like the sugar, taste the maple, and also it's soft in the middle. So I got really crunchy texture, inside soft like a cake. Really like these donuts. I mean, if you could do these for your family and friends, really easy, Sunday morning, a little cocktail coffee, you're gonna wanna try this. Now, if you want the full recipe, it's listed in the description. And don't forget to subscribe because we have a lot of great recipes coming up and you're not gonna wanna miss it. I'm Chef Michael Reyes and you've been watching The Hungry Winos.